Hello, welcome everyone to our channel, The Planner's Way. Myself Rohit. Today's video is going to be on the forecasting, the estimate to complete and estimated completion. This video is the extended version of the earned value calculation or the earned value management that we have discussed before. Here we are focusing on the forecasting aspects, what the forecasting is, what forecast we can do using those indicators or the key performance metrics, why the forecasting is essential. These things we are going to describe in this video, and at the end we try to demonstrate those things using an example scenario. Let's dive in further. What forecasting does is forecasting predicts the future project performance based on the current progress. It's easy to predict what the future of project performance will be. It helps to estimate the final cost, the remaining work, and the overall project duration at the end of the project. It ensures the proactive decision making, which helps the high stakeholder easier to take the decisions if we know about our forecasting are, what the forecasting will be for the next financial year. The first metrics that the project manager are keen toward is the estimated completion. That means once we have planned the project, we have the overall budget of the project, which is the budgeted completion. And while monitoring the progress in between or in the middle of the project or after some months after commencing, we would like to see where we are with the project. Either we are in line with our budget or we are out of that budget. So for that, the one matrix that we use is the estimated completion. The formulas for estimate to completion is budget at completion divided by that of the CPI, which reflects when the future work will follow current cost efficiency. We can use the second formula when the CPI is expected to be stable, and where the CPI is variable, we can use the first formula. Both will lead us to the estimated completion. The second matrix used for the forecasting is the estimate to complete, which is the expected cost required to finish the remaining project work. The formula for that is estimate at completion minus that of the actual cost. It helps us to understand how much more budget will be needed for the future phases. If we have completed the 25% of the project, what ETC tell us is how much budget will be needed for that of the rest 75% in terms of what we have incurred for that 25%. The common uses of these forecasting techniques, the estimated complete and estimate to completion, are we can easily identify whether the project is trending the over budget or that of the under budget. We know the forecast of the financial risk early in the project, which help us to adjust the cost baseline and resource baseline in time. It helps the improved communication among the key stakeholder and the client, as we know the forecast where we are with our budget, and it helps on the enhanced decision making. Once we have the forecast on hand, it helps us to manage the schedule as well, to take the recovery action what we can do. The first one in term of cost, if the poor CPI, that means in term of CPI, if we are less than or we are running over budget, if our CPI is 0.6 or it is not closer to 1, on that case we have to do the schedule re-evaluation and calculate the new forecast, what our new forecast budget is. And in terms of forecasting, it helps to identify the early slippage and plan for the acceleration or any recovery action that we can take, or either we can adjust some links and logic, either we can do some tasks simultaneously to recover the days which have been delayed. It helps us to manage the resource allocation more efficiently. That means if any non-critical item is taking on the resources, or if any non-critical items are being progressed, we can slow down the progress on those and focus on the critical items. It maintains the realistic expectation for the stakeholders. If the stakeholders are informed on time, it helps them for the decision making. After the forecasting, we can show them where the project is going to be finished or what budget the project is going to be finished, so the expectations are more realistic for them rather than finger on the air. Let's take an arbitrary scenario to discuss how the ETC and EAC are calculated in real life projects. For this scenario, we have taken the budgeted completion to be 500,000. And after 6 months, while evaluating, we find the earned value is 200,000, and that of the AC, the actual incurred cost is 250,000. Taking the calculations, the CPI is the division of EV to that of the actual cost, which leads us to the CPI of 0.8. To calculate the EAC, it's simply the division of budget at completion to that of the CPI, which leads us to the new forecast, new estimated complete, which is 625,000. And that of the estimate to complete, what it is, EAC minus AC, where we can see it is 625,000 minus that of 250,000, which leads us to 375,000, which is the additional cost needed to complete the rest of the project. The interpretation for is, as the CPI is less than 1, the project is trending over budget and we need to likely slow down on the schedule. That means in terms of schedule we are behind, and in terms of budget the project is running over budget. So corrective action need to be taken and we need to incur more money or the more resources to complete the project on time. The next video in this series will be going to be on the baseline versus actuals. For more insight, please subscribe the Planner's Way. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next video.